Welcome everyone. In this video we'll go through price action for gold and silver for today. So starting with gold on the daily time frame, we have this as a candle for yesterday. We closed above this previous candle's high and pushed to the upside, but we couldn't get all the way to this level. Now I think we could be seeing ourselves dumping down to target this equal lows here, because this was a sweep followed by a bearish engulfing candle. So we are meant to get into this one and start dumping. Now we broke out of this daily range and we might be seeing a retracement down into a level around here before we continue and move to the upside. So for now, I do think we could be seeing that push to the downside from here, starting with today's candle. It has already started the bearish move. Who knows, heading into London and New York session, what could happen. So that is that for the daily time frame. I don't think there's anything new to talk about. Okay, we also swept liquidity here. So if we actually close this candle bearish, I do think we should just continue selling, because there's a lot of liquidity here to test. There is a fair value gap here to test an imbalance. This is a very, very large imbalance. And also the fact that we have a daily demand zone here. We could see all this, price could use all these as reasons to want to start dumping from there. So let's hope that we continue the dump. So we'll go down to the 4-hour time frame to continue our analysis. So on the 4-hour time frame, this is what we have here. This was what happened today. But before we continue, let me just take a quick overview. So we broke structure here, came up to sweep liquidity from the CISD here. We almost broke below these lows, but I think that was a liquidity sweep. And we started pushing to the upside. Now for what happened yesterday. Okay, for Monday, this was Monday's beginning candle, a consolidating candle, followed by another one. So Asian session was really not nice. Then I do think this was London session's candle. So it came, swept everything here and closed bullish, but it didn't really break above this level. So we are still targeting this high here as our primary draw on liquidity. After the first candle, second candle came, swept liquidity again. Third candle came, swept liquidity again. So it was indicating that price was did not really have enough momentum to push it out of this range to continue buying. So what happened next? We had a sweep here, and this sweep gave us a bearish engulfing candle. Now this is what we can use as an opportunity to continue selling the market heading into today. So we had this sweep and the bearish engulfing. We might see price retrace into this zone a little bit before selling again. We are not really sure. That's a level at 4413.47. That's my ideal scenario. We push down here. London pushes price up to, look for zones here, and then New York session pushes it down. So that is it. This level has already been mitigated, so it's not going to hold again. Now here has become liquidity for price to target. Here has also become liquidity. So yeah, a lot of liquidity resting below these lows that price should be targeting soon. So moving down to the 1-hour time frame, this is it here. It's very clear to see on this time frame. We had, I think this will be the same thing we'll see on the 15 minutes. We had a break of this high. Price came back, tapped into the zone, broke again, broke this high. Price came back, tapped into the zone, broke above here. Now we didn't have a valid demand zone for price to tap into and keep on moving up. That was why we had this break. So you can see it here. This is the break, and we could see price come into the zone to continue sell to the downside. Another level, like I said, this is liquidity, this is liquidity. So a lot of liquidity resting below here. Moving down to the 15 minutes time frame, I think we now have ourselves a new range here. So this was the initial break. Although we can now move this. This was the change of character here. This was the range. This is the range high, and I think this is the range low, but we won't mark it out yet because price has not yet retraced more into the zone for us to mark this as a range low. So yeah, another reason I think price will come here is because we have this imbalance here that price has to, fill up first before moving to the downside. So I think for today, we could be seeing a bearish play. But before that, we should see some bullish moves into some zones here. Then when price gets a valid zone it wants, it starts pushing to the downside. So that's my bias for gold. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, turn on your notification button and join the Telegram group chat. All the links will be in the description. Moving over to silver on the daily time frame. We have, what do we have here? Okay, so this is also a daily break. This is the range high and the range low is here. So this was the daily candle. Rather, this was the previous day's candle. Same as gold, we had a break above here, swept this liquidity. We didn't really move up to this one here, although that was the one that swept this liquidity, so it's meant to be a protected low. So after sweeping the liquidity, we are now looking like we are going to close bearish. But for now, we are still on a bullish trend, especially after this liquidity sweep here. So let's check the lower time frame to see if we can get something on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so this was where price came. Price swept here, also swept here. After sweeping this liquidity and filling up this imbalance, we pushed up. Price swept these highs here, and now we are looking like we could be pushing to the downside. I would prefer this level being broken first before looking for a place to sell from. Remember, this is also a zone, this level here. So this could be what pushes price to this point, and then if the zone is going to hold, then this could be what makes price move back to the upside. But if it doesn't, which we might just be seeing a reaction before it breaks, which is a more ideal scenario for me, given that gold is also looking bearish. I would expect this place to be a stumbling block, just a very, very serious opposition to price selling to the downside. But this also looks like an obvious liquidity that price will want to be attracted to, coupled with the fact that we are also on a bearish trend on the 15 minutes time frame. So yeah, that is it. I think this was also a 4-hour time frame zone that price reacted off. And let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. So this was what happened on the 1 hour. We had a break here. Price came to change character at this point. We traced into the zone and then pushed up, leaving liquidity here. So this was an indication that price would still want to get back to that level. So it came back here to 6 zones, which this was one of it, and then price pushed up again. This is another zone here that price has come down to. It's tapped into it and pushed up. It didn't really break above it before retracing. So now I would be expecting this low to get broken, then retracement into this level here and continue looking for sales. So the level I'm talking about is the one at 65.979 on the 1 hour time frame. So on the 15 minutes, this is everything that happened yesterday. Like I said, we pushed up, left this obvious drawn liquidity here. Price consolidated a little, came into the zone, and then pushed up again, breaking this level. So this zone is where price is reacting off now. I do think this is where we will determine if it's going to hold. This looks like liquidity inducement for a move to the upside. But if it doesn't hold and it breaks here, then we'll have ourselves a change of character at this level. That's if it breaks. We also have this 4-hour zone to contend with. So if it breaks, I think we'll just tap into this level. If it starts retracing, this should be an area that we'll look out for. But since it's coming from the 4-hour zone, we should be very careful if it gets here, because it can either break it or actually reverse. So possibly look for confirmation around this zone if it's to hold to push price up. So if we get it starts pushing up, we should also possibly take profits at this level and then wait for confirmation again to know if it's going to push down or actually break through it. So that is it for gold and silver. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification button and join the Telegram community, and we'll see you again later. Bye.